Heavy Rain is quite possibly the best gaming experience I've ever had. I've ever had the pleasure of enjoying. Heavy Rain is just quite possibly it is the most cinematic game I've ever played, and is definitely on my list of best games of all time. So we're all anticipating what's next from Quantrill Dreams, the makers of Heavy Rain. With so many different endings for Heavy Rain, so many different possibilities for new storylines, with this company showing that they're quite capable of making an amazing game, it really hyped all of us up for what would come next. And what we got was Beyond Two Souls, a game where you play as a woman named Jodie, and you follow through her storyline, and you slowly start to figure things out about the mysterious companion she has with her. Is it a ghost? Is it a spirit? No, it turns out that it's actually something called an entity. Now, Heavy Rain, like I said, is one of my favorite games of all time. Beyond Two Souls, however, it really lacks comparing to Heavy Rain. I'm going to be really angry. It's time to turn on the angry mode. This is my review of Beyond Two Souls. I'm sorry there's no gameplay. So, the first thing that really makes me mad about the thing that really gets me is that there's only one ending to Beyond Two Souls compared to the nearly 30 or so, I believe, that there are in Heavy Rain. With so many different possibilities, you have 30, 1. And this is a game that is based on decisions. Having only one ending really makes me feel, as a player, feel that what I'm doing in the game is unimportant and really does not matter. It also makes me feel I have no consequences, which is a very different turn from what the kind of choices you were making in Heavy Rain. So, following along with that, Beyond Two Souls really turns down how serious the decisions are. In Heavy Rain, you have to make gripping decisions about things such as, do you trust this person? Do you escape the madman's lair? Do you drink poison to save your son? How far will you go to save your son? Beyond Two Souls, however, begs the question, what should I cook for my date tonight? So basically it translates to a very good-looking Sims. And like I said, no matter what you choose in Beyond Two Souls, it will not come back to affect you. In Heavy Rain, however, it is very important you make the key decisions, because no matter what you choose, even the smallest decision can lead to something drastically. It can have a snowball effect and spiral out of control and have a drastic change. Or it can change for the better. Beyond Two Souls, however, once again, it cannot spiral out of control. And it's not only because of the decisions you have to make are less serious. It also has to deal with the fact that it jumps around in the game's timeline. That's in Heavy Rain, you followed chronological order. You start at the beginning, you end at the end. In Beyond Two Souls, you bounce around on the timeline, learning more about Jodie and more about her entity, Aiden, however you want to say it, even though it should be pronounced Aiden, as the story goes on. In Heavy Rain, you figure out clues and slowly learn where your son is and who the Origami Killer is. The thing about it is, in Heavy Rain, you don't know what's happening next. You know and you do not know that these characters, you know that if you mess up, these characters will have consequences. You will die in Heavy Rain. Your character can permanently die, wipe off, Ada, La Vista. I'm just speaking random gibberish now, but it really, in Beyond Two Souls, however, you know it's going to turn out all right because it bounces around in the timeline. Like, if I'm having in a battle in a time period before I am doing something with my date or something like that, then I know that I'm going to win that battle because that's how the timeline plays out. That's kind of like how we have problems with prequels. You always, in a prequel, while the story and while everything may be great about the movie or game or whatever, it will lack in the fact that you know it will turn out all right for the character, as you've already seen what they're doing in the future, so there's no way they can fail in the past. That's one of the biggest problems I have with Beyond Two Souls. I mean, I'm going to say that a million times because there's just so many problems with this game. But in Beyond Two Souls, you bounce around the timeline, and that's just one of the killers for me. I mean, what's the point of doing this if I already know it's going to turn out alright? Now, here's a few saving graces first about the game. Graphically, the game looks beautiful. Quantum Dreams did a great job in Heavy Rain with voice detailing, etc., by hooking up all kinds of cameras. And if you watch any of the behind the scenes stuff, it's really amazing like what they do, and it's really amazing how far games have gone from things like pixelating it for Mario to how we can mimic facial expressions and movements and hand movements down to a T. And it's still present in Beyond Two Souls. And also, the story is engaging, though not as well as Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain, it was very much more dramatic, I guess you'd say, and a lot more mysterious. And it also was a lot more hectic, as you only had a certain timeline to save your son. Beyond Two Souls has really no ultimate goal, as in saving somebody or saving your son, but the main conflict, I guess you could say, is you try to figure out who Aiden is or what he is, and more about this Jody girl. While that's all fine and dandy, it is not as engaging or dramatic a story as finding your son and stopping the killer. A few other problems I have with the game is the controls. Now, the controls in Heavy Rain were mostly quick time events and decision making. Very fast paced, very simple, but very fun. Beyond Two Souls, while it has very few quick time events and does focus on somewhat the same engine on a few things of button mashing, and it does focus on decision making, though, as I said previously, not as much or well. The main thing you'll do is when it'll go into like a slow motion thing, like if she's throwing a punch, you have to quickly move the thumbstick in the direction she's moving to successfully land the punch or kick or whatever she's doing, dodge, or you will end up doing this most of the time. That's how you will spend most of your time in the game. But the problem with it is it's really hard to tell what direction she's moving in. When I first saw that in a review, I thought, it can't be that hard. And I admit, I have had an easier time than I've seen some people with it. However, I still ultimately fail due to things such as the background getting in the way, and also while it does go slow-mo, it's sometimes very hard to determine which direction she's going. Especially since you have to worry about all kinds of directions instead of just a simple up and down, and it's in a 3D environment. It's also very hard because I mean, it's really hard to explain, but it really is hard to tell which direction she's moving in. what in the slow motion times. Ultimately, that's a real game killer to me, when most of the time I'm seeing a red haze and then a red fail types thing, and it's not even my fault, it's mostly the game's. And the last thing that really gets me annoyed about Beyond Two Souls is you can't die. I'm serious, no matter how much you screw up, no matter if you choose, like, there's some points in the game you can choose to kill yourself. Like, you could say, okay, there's a point when you're homeless, you pick up a knife from a tire that's jammed into a tire, and you can choose to put it in your throat. If you're like, I'll put it in my throat, then she'll go, I can't do it. It's points like that in the game I cannot stand. Besides from not just being able to not die, there's also decisions that, even if you choose to do so, she will back out anyways. There's also the scene where the guy says, when you're homeless, $10 to go around back with me. If you agree to do so, then she will still refuse. Which, for a sequel in heart, I guess you could say, it's not really a sequel, it's more of a spin-off type thing. A different project of Quantra Dreams from the creators of a great experience like Heavy Rain. In Heavy Rain, no matter if you choose to do so, you live with the consequences. If you choose to do that, it will happen, you live with the consequences. In Beyond Two Souls, it's basically, well, it's like in kindergarten, they hold your hand, like, if you want to do something, no, you can't do that. It's like in kindergarten, like I said. They'll just hold your hand, and every time you do something you're not supposed to, slap on the wrist, no, don't do that. And so you will not achieve what you ultimately want to do. Overall, I do have to say that there are a few saving graces to the game, as mentioned earlier. It looks very good graphically, and also the story is intriguing and will hold your attention. And also it has the chapters are of varying length, so you'll ultimately find yourself in love with some chapters and hating others, but really it'll depend on, but usually you won't have to stick with those chapters too long. Overall, I'm having to give Beyond Two Souls, for the many reasons I've listed here, a 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching my review. Please hit the like if you enjoyed this video. Please hit the subscribe button, and please comment below what your opinions on Beyond Two Souls were. And also comment, tell me what you thought of this review, and what you think of Beyond Two Souls versus Heavy Rain. Thank you for watching. Retro Renegade signing out, and I'm going to go play Heavy Rain now.